The Walt Disney Park that people forget exists is getting a rebrand. Let's talk about Disney Adventure World on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell coming to you from the That Park Place Adventure Studios. Here with me is my adventurous friend, Vash Sky. Vash, are you ready for an adventure?
I am absolutely ready for an adventure at the Cinemagique Adventure Studios right over here. So we got the I can't believe we all have unified branding. This is so amazing.
Yes, let's adventure on over to the Disney Parks blog over here, where they are talking about the fact that Disney Adventure World, Disneyland Paris, reimagines second park. It's fascinating that they even say second park here. I think that they have a little bit of a branding problem here. Maybe they'll get a little bit closer to fixing that with this new interesting name. See, look right here, Disneyland, Disney Adventure World. There's a D in there. I don't know if you noticed that. Like you probably did.
I got that.
This by Andy Sikowski, Communications Manager, Disney Experiences. Get ready to experience beloved Disney characters and stories like never before as Walt Disney Studios Park, the second park at Disneyland Paris, continues its transformation and expansion on a never-before-seen scale, starting with a brand new name for the destination. The location will be renamed Disney Adventure World, coinciding with when World of Frozen opens, bringing with it a new creative vision that will nearly double the park's footprint and transform it into a world adventure, and in Arundel's case, a world of snow. Vash, can I ask you, what is it really Disney's smallest park?
Yes, yeah, definitely their smallest park. I believe when this park originally opened, it was about 62 acres. Back when this opened in 2002. So yes, very, very small, and it was built deliberately to be that small because really, honestly, to go to the history of this park, after Disneyland Paris opens in 1992, obviously there's some fallout there, economic fallout for the company, and Michael Eisner definitely reassesses the theme park division for the company and how much they spend going forward, and that affected a lot of projects. I mean, the list is limitless. California Adventure, Disney's Animal Kingdom, Hong Kong, it's just everywhere. But when they originally staked their claim at Disneyland Paris, the agreement was that they would have option for the land right next door for a theme park, but they would lose out on it if it wasn't opened within 10 years of the first park in Disneyland Paris Castle Park.
Well,
Disneyland.
I just need to point out that, of course, we're using the updated name of Disneyland Paris at this point, which is a much nicer name than the original name for the park, Euro Disneyland.
Euro Disneyland, yeah. So when Euro Disneyland opened, it was like, okay, 1992, here we go. And they're expecting this to be the Walt Disney World of Europe. And unfortunately, it didn't quite pan out in that way, but they'd staked out some of the claims to the surrounding area, and one of those was a plot of land for a second park. But the deal was that they had to open it within 10 years of the first one. So in 2002, they opened Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris. And I will say, it was very underwhelming at the time. So if anybody thought that when Disney's MGM Studios, which would later rebrand as Disney's Hollywood Studios, we'll get to that in a moment, but Disney's MGM Studios, when it opened in 1989, a lot of it wasn't fleshed out. It was kind of a half-day park. This might have been even worse than that, and especially the quality level was not near what the domestic parks had experienced.
Well, yeah,
prior.
and I'll defend Disney MGM Studios. First of all, I did go in those first few years of Disney MGM Studios, and I do remember going through the park with one of those wonderful paper maps, and those things I feel like they're going to go extinct very soon. Going through and looking at everything on the map and thinking, we did everything in this park. How did we do that? And as a kid, I thought, wow, that's really cool that we did everything. Little did I know that that was because there wasn't actually a lot to do in the park. That being said, it was still an amazing time there, and didn't cost $180 to get in the park. So
it's funny because the thought process back then was, well, this is a half day park, but we're adding stuff like Typhoon Lagoon and Pleasure Island, and those things would round out your day, and that's how we would get one more day from you, right? It would be the combination of all those experiences. However, people don't necessarily think like that, so they had to quickly expand. And but this park in Paris here has suffered greatly ever since its debut in 2002.
Yes. Now, Vash, I know you have a lot of information here, and I do believe you have a video for us to watch.
Yes.
Now, this video is in French and English. The music is probably going to get us in trouble, so we're going to do our best here to try to figure out the best way to navigate this. Continue, if you will. This woman might sound a lot like me. I'll just say that, or maybe like Vash, depending on how we talk about this. Look at that. There's the Dreamer statue. Disneyland Paris, we have one dream in common, creating unique emotions and telling our stories through experiences that are incredible. Look at that. These are all things that exist in other parks. To bring this dream to life, we're always pushing the boundaries of imagination. That's really cool, by the way. The rest of the parks are getting that. They have Avengers Campus. Forgive me for overusing the word adventure. Tony Stark. Coco. That's an older one, Lasseter era. It's their version of Disney Springs. Nice hotel. That's the Disneyland Paris Hotel, right?
Yes, I think that was the reimagined one that they just got done working on.
I'm seeing a lot of Iron Man, I'm noticing here.
Oh, yes. Lots of Iron Man. They love Marvel.
Opening here.
Yeah,
reimagining the most generic name. I mean, Disney's Hollywood Studios, that's a little bit generic, but Walt Disney Studios Park, it's almost as if they realized that Walt Disney Studios was bland enough and generic enough that they needed to add the word park onto it.
Yes, this one needed park on the end of it because it's just Walt Disney Studios without it. So this one was really crucial. But now we have Walt Disney's Adventure World. This entrance portion right here is being rethemed. So people who aren't familiar with this park is you have to go through this building as your entrance corridor for the park. So it's like their main street if you want to.
Go back to that if you don't mind. This reminds me of one of the quotes that I saw. An unnamed executive apparently came into the park at this point and asked, and they were in this section of the park and said, "Okay, when do we go on stage?" Meaning that executive thought he was in the backstage of the park when he was in an area like this one. That's
really tough. Yeah, I mean some of these public spaces or on-stage spaces in this park, I mean, literally it looked like parking lots that they had just put buildings on. I mean, it was very, very unthemed, and you could clearly tell that the company did not invest the resources that they probably should have, and honestly weren't confident in back when this park opened in 2002. I am glad that they are redoing this kind of entrance corridor, though. That probably needs to be addressed. Not in the substantial manner in which it probably needed to be, but, these are rebranding changes for sure.
Adventures where you can play a role in the story. In our recent Avengers campus, for example,
more Iron Man.
A lot of people see this version of Avengers Campus as actually being pretty successful. The one at California Adventure was not as seen as successful. So they are showing right now clips from the Hong Kong version, which is essentially what Disneyland Paris is getting. However, they aren't getting the roller coaster, the 90-second roller coaster that we have covered on this channel.
I do know that they at least do have roller coasters in the Paris park. The fascinating thing to me here is that it sounds like Disney is starting to do a copy-paste method here. There used to be some differentiation with the parks. So
what I would describe
the strategy here appears to be taking lands that exist in other areas and then copying them over. We're going to talk about another one other than Frozen that appears to be scheduled to be built over there at Disney Adventure World, or which is it, World or Park?
Disney Adventure World, which is really interesting because they haven't typically gone with the world descriptor for these parks before.
That's right.
Footprint of the park with new worlds, a beautiful new adventure bay for entertainment
adventure.
and bayside dining. Some of your
Adventure
favorite
Bay.
royals. Our Imagineers are already at work creating the next immersive world for the park.
We will
We
talk
look forward
about
to
that
sharing
in just a
more
moment.
the future.
Writing this next chapter of our future, the transformation of our resort allows us to imagine new experiences in a place where adventure knows no limits.
I will just say this as they're premiering this logo, and a lot of this language can be kind of generic. It doesn't really matter what they say. This is a little bit closer to what Epic Universe is doing with those Mark Woodbury videos that they're doing for Epic Universe.
Yeah, I agree.
Much better than the Tiana's Bayou Adventure videos where they go into some woman's second bedroom to see her with a mask talking about the different characters that they animated for it. This is a bigger announcement. There's a little bit more production value here. I appreciate that they're stepping in this direction, but at the same time, they're not showing anything that people haven't already seen before. Essentially, all they're showing at this point is, one, that they are going to be doing more in this park, and two, that they're changing the name to something that I'm not sure that anybody is really excited about the name. From a business standpoint, I will say better name than Walt Disney Studios Park. But that's not saying much.
That's not saying much. And it's, and the Disney company has done this before when they have invested big amounts of money. People will note that they originally announced the new Frozen World and even Star Wars and more back in 2019 is when they announced the original reimagining of this park, and at that point it was quoted as being a €2 billion expansion of the Walt Disney Studios Park, now Disney Adventure World. We've known that these things have been coming for quite some time. Obviously, they were delayed somewhat with the pandemic, and also too, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge wasn't necessarily the barn burner that they expected it to be. So we have known for quite some time that they obviously got Marvel and Frozen, but people were wondering why haven't we started work on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Paris? And well, unfortunately, it was canceled, as this article brings out right here from Diz Insider. It says right here, during an interview with the CEO of the Disneyland Paris resort, he stated that we are still working on the third theme. We will make announcements about this when we are ready. This was long after Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was already confirmed via concept art and via official statements. And so you mentioned, Jonas, they're in the copy and paste mode for this park, which that's a way to reduce the ROI associated with these very, very expensive projects. A lot of people are thinking that whatever they develop for California in terms of Avatar might be brought over to Disneyland Paris, or in this case, Disney Adventure World.
Interesting. So they are showing now. If you can just keep this image that's on screen in your mind,
Please,
as we switch over to this image over here, I see a large water area in the middle here, and a large water area in the middle here.
yes, you do.
Now that being said,
interesting?
when Bob Iger described this, he's just calling this inspiration. They're thinking about this picture as they think about the next thing that they're going to do. It was it wasn't blue sky. It was whatever the appetizer to blue sky is. While they're thinking about the blue sky, they're also thinking about this kind of orangish, tealish water here. I do want to note that over here on the website, they're also talking about this Alice in Wonderland show here. This Alice and the Queen of Hearts Head to Paris. Beginning on May 25th, Alice and the Queen of Hearts Back to Wonderland will debut at Walt Disney Studios Park with an exclamation point. All right. It looks like, by the way, that this is a BMX show that is going to be replacing the whatever the equivalent of Light Motors action is from the Paris park. No offense there. I love a good stunt show. If you're going to theme it to something, Alice in Wonderland is in the public domain, of course, and Disney did one of those. This costume is a little different than the the Disney version I grew up with. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the first. Like I said, this is not the first time that Disney has rebranded one of their parks following big updates. Right here, people will obviously note that Disney MGM Studios, coming out of the MGM era, was renamed to Disney's Hollywood Studios in 2008. And interestingly enough, when Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land were being added to that park, there were a lot of rumors and speculation, and there was work conducted by the Disney company to possibly rename that park again. And the two big rumored names for that park were Disney's Hollywood Adventure and Disney's Cinemagic Kingdom. Unfortunately, none of those came to bear here. And now that we're in the adventure branding, Isles of Adventure? I don't know. Now that we're into the adventure branding so thick here, I'm surprised they didn't actually end up going with that. But Disney's California Adventure was renamed to Disney California Adventure in 2010 in the lead up to that reimagining of that park in 2012. So Disney has done this before. The Walt Disney Studios Paris park, like you have mentioned before, Jonas, it's pretty generic, and so it doesn't surprise me that they would want to retheme or rebrand this entire park as something else, especially with a €2 billion investment in this place. Obviously, those figures might have changed, but we're going to get a slew of announcements connected to this probably at D23 Expo. I would bet my bottom dollar on that. And we still don't know what they're doing out there in that lagoon with that, what they call a nighttime activation, or as people will know, a nighttime spectacular. This was supposed to get a World of Color type water show experience, but obviously, due to the maintenance of the original World of Color, that's all changed.
Yeah. Now it's interesting to me as well. The announcement from Disney Parks blog says waddle over to the new Disney Davy Crockett Ranch bungalows. So much about that. Of course, waddle is the word you want to associate with most of your marketing. That's classic. That's marketing 101 right there. But that there is a new anything at the Disney company that is themed to Davy Crockett. That is absolutely fascinating to me. Of course, I want to throw this to the audience here. Do you think that this is a sign that they're going to have more adventures here at Disney Adventure Park? Do you think they're going to have an Adventure Land or an Adventure Isle? Will it have Indiana Jones Adventure, the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, or perhaps the Indiana Jones Adventure, the Temple of the Crystal Skull, or an Adventureland Treehouse, or Tiana's Bayou Adventure, or Star Tours? The adventure continues. Forgive me. Over there they have Star Tours L'Aventure Continue, or maybe the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, or the American Adventure, or Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, or Web Slingers, a Spider-Man Adventure, or Web Adventure, or what about Little Mermaid's Ariel Undersea Adventure, or Little Mermaid, a musical adventure? Of course, it's France, so maybe that they'll do Hunchback of Notre Dame, a musical adventure, or maybe Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, a movie set adventure, or Adventurer's Outpost, or Adventure Through Inner Space, or they could bring back Snow White's Adventures, or if they really want to scare the kids, they could do Snow White's Scary Adventures, or they could just really go for the tip top and do Ellen's Energy Adventure. And maybe once they see Peter's Neverland Adventure over there at Fantasy Springs, they'll just say, we have to have that for our park. What are your thoughts down below? Do they need another adventure over there in Paris, or whatever this city that they're confusing with Paris for the sake of marketing is? Please leave us your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Plays for all the news. This should be an adventure.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.